I actually did the quiz on Pottermore, and I got sorted into Slytherin. But I always thought Seamus should have been an undercover spy for Slytherin. But J.K. Rowling never wanted to go with that, unfortunately. But she called me a traitor because I was a Slytherin and I'm not a Gryffindor. Trying to actually master a single spell, because every time he tries something it just blows up. So I think he's been trying to sort himself out, get a bit of magic under his belt, and I think he would have ended up doing something like Defense Against the Dark Arts, something like that, because he was ambitious and he was always trying different weird spells. I think I read somewhere that he was going to date Lavender Brown at one stage. So maybe him and Lavender Brown might have hooked up. I'm not sure. I think he always fancied Hermione. Well, you see, I had to move from Ireland over to the UK. I was there for 11 years. I started when I was 11 and I finished when I was 22. Yes, that was a big change for me to kind of up sticks and leave. My mum would come over with me. She was my chaperone. My dad had this back home in Ireland, so we'd fly back and forth whenever he could in between work. But no, other than that, like, my life kind of stayed the same. I was still a normal kid during filming. I'd come home back to my horses, mucking them out with all the other kids in the riding school at the time. So my life hadn't changed at all. And then I had to give up horse riding, so I was able to buy a small riding school, not a riding school, like a stud farm. So I was able to breed horses, buy and sell them, and produce them up to like Grand Prix levels and things like that. No, we don't actually get to meet up that often anymore. Everybody else is off doing their own things around the world. I'm back in Ireland, or else I'm flying off to like different places. So we don't usually get to kind of catch up and go out for a beer or anything like that. Now, we're always texting and WhatsApp and Twitter and everything like that, and Instagram, but other than that we don't get to meet up except for the likes of these Comic-Cons. I'm hoping one day Warner Brothers will just throw like a Harry Potter reunion. We all get to meet up and have a party. We're all hoping for that. Yeah, so I started acting when I was 5 years of age, and I joined an agency on a Monday, and I got my very first audition the following day, and then 2 days later I found out that I had the part. So that was great, and then there was like a couple of commercials straight afterwards. So I thought, oh my god, this is so easy, it's the best thing in the world. Then I done another few movies, and then Harry Potter came along, and then that was it. Obviously Harry Potter was the big one. Just doing what normal kids are able to do, like go to the school. I'd come home, like, to be all telling stories about what happened, who was in trouble, who was kissing who, and things like that. And I'd kind of feel left out and weird on those conversations. But other than that, all my friends were like, do you know what? They just loved having me home. It was strange because originally there was an English boy cast as Seamus Finnigan, and then they decided, look, he's an Irish character, he's got to be played by an Irish boy. So they sent me over, and beforehand I'd never read Harry Potter or heard of Harry Potter because I'm dyslexic. I just didn't read. So I flew over for a screen test with the director, producers and some of the cast. So I walked past Dan, Rupert and Emma over to Chris Columbus, the director, and I thought he was Harry Potter. So I was like, hi Harry, nice to meet you. So they were looking for a stupid Irish guy, and I kind of found a stupid Irish guy that day. When I finally read them, it was Peeves. Just because he was hilarious and mischievous and just, yeah, he was cool. And then he was on the very first movie filming, but he was just so funny. I think that's why they cut him out of it, because everybody, you couldn't work with him because everybody would be crying laughing. He was just hilarious, the funniest man I've ever met in my life. He was amazing. You know, I've got two favourites. The first movie because it was like so magical and welcoming everybody to Hogwarts, kind of like grabbing the fans and sucking them in. it was so magic, it was beautiful. Chris Columbus, the director, done a fantastic job. And then the last movie, because for me it was like watching all the movies, we were all growing up, getting better actors, like getting better at our acting. So to see the last one, the effects were second to none, and then the acting was like on such a higher level than it was in the very first movie. Okay, one of them was the guy who plays Hagrid. We'd just come home, we'd just come back over to the UK. We'd had like a couple of weeks off in between filming, and I was going into hair and makeup, and so was he. So he grabbed me and brought me into another room and put band-aids all over my face. And then he sent me back into hair and makeup, and they were like, "Oh my god, what's happened? What's happened?" I was like, "I fell off a horse." And they're like, "Shit, you shouldn't be riding." So they called all the producers, so they were all coming down to hair and makeup to see me. My heart is thumping out of my chest. Robbie goes running away so he doesn't get in trouble. And I'm sat there thinking, oh my god, I've just lost my job. Oh my god, I've just lost my job. So then they all come down, they're like, oh my god, what's happened? What's happened? They get all the doctors in and everything. It's like, oh no, this is the worst day of my life. So then Robbie comes in and he tells me, he's like, yeah, it was me, I'm sorry. And then everybody started laughing. So that was fun to play a trick like that, and like the director, producers, J.K. Rowling, everybody. It was fun now. Like when you think back of it, it was quite funny, but at the time I was like, damn, I've just lost my job. I'm in so much trouble here. Thanks, Robbie.